We as human beings have something about us that's more important than anything. And it's that which we as a global human culture must come to grips with. And what we must come to grips with, what we must really get down to business about is our true nature, the fundamental nature of being human. And that fundamental nature of being human is that we already are all-inclusive awakened awareness. That's all we are. We would have no knowledge of anything at all, of any perception at all, without this awareness. Without the awareness, no perception would be. So awareness, vast like infinite space, is inseparable from the dynamic energy of its points of view or perceptions. Absolutely inseparable, like the color blue is inseparable from the sky, or like the colors of a rainbow are inseparable from the rainbow. Like the brilliance of a diamond is inseparable from the diamond. There's no way we can ever separate out awareness from perception, appearances, or as in the Great Freedom Teaching, we just simply say points of view. And the introduction to the direct experience of that all-inclusive awakened awareness is the responsibility of settings like this. So the introduction to the direct experience of that is permanent and fully evident is the responsibility of settings like this. And the introduction to that is not a goal. So this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the path, so to speak. The beginning of the pathless path is the direct introduction to the aware, empty, pure space that is the reality of our nature. That is the beginning of the beginningless beginning. So when we persist in practices that see achievement of this direct experience as a goal, then we live our entire life within the realm of cause and effect. And with the descriptions, the intellectual speculations, the characteristics, and the non-emptiness of the world of cause and effect, it's impossible to ever have a direct experience of who we are. Because the direct experience of our already accomplished, all-inclusive awakened awareness is already present. It's already present. It's naturally occurring. We would not be aware of being without it. So how do we have this direct introduction to the reality of what we are? It's very simple. We just either show up here until conviction dawns and we have the direct experience of that and the growing evidence of it in our lives, or we rest naturally when a perception arises, and rather than making a big story out of the perception, in other words, trying to prove that there is a world of cause and effect, we rest naturally as the essence of awareness, the awareness that is fullness of that perception. So the entirety of the basic space of any perception, boundlessly so, is aware basic space and nothing else. There's nothing else going on in any appearance. It has a vivid appearance. The appearance is distinct and clear. It can't be discounted that the appearance is an appearance of some kind, but to see it only as an appearance and to give it an independent origin is to live in a world of illusion, to live in a mirage and consider all of the elements to be real. Unless we see that the vivid appearance has as its essence, as its only essence, all-inclusive awakened awareness, and that the appearance, no matter what it is, has no independent origin other than that awareness, then we'll be lost inside a dictionary for all of our lives. We'll be running around from word to word, attempting to ascertain the meaning of that word and how it relates to other words in the dictionary. And all that's okay, but unless we rest as the underlying basis, we can never come to a complete understanding of who we are as human beings. And the other approach to the direct experience of all-inclusive awakened awareness is to simply hold to the immediacy of your own place, no matter what's occurring. And your own place is that from which everything arises. Your own place isn't this as a place. It's this as a place. It includes this, but this is dependent on this. So most of the time we think that our awareness is dependent on this, but this is dependent on awareness. This is dependent on the totality. Without the totality of all-inclusive awakened awareness, this would not be. There'd be no awareness whatsoever of this. So that which is the root of everything, know that to be the reality of what you are as a starting point, Now, some people just come here and keep turning up, and in that have the direct experience of what is ultimately real about who we are. And in that, this is an experience that doesn't have an on-off switch. So it isn't having some kind of bodily state happen and then all of a sudden it disappears. It is a direct introduction that's permanent. In other words, there's no turning back from it. There's absolutely no way to turn back from it. We can't turn back from it anyway. Who would turn back from what? We already are what we are. We already are who we are. So there's nothing to get, and there's no one to get it. As we already are who we are, there's nothing to prove. There's no state or reality to enter into. The pure realm of what we already are is already evident. It's never been obscured and hidden in any way. But we can persist in a lifetime of obscuring and hiding it. We can persist in a lifetime of obscuring and hiding it by taking all the perceptions, all the appearances, whether they're spiritual or non-spiritual, to be real, to be something in and of themselves, to be some kind of cause that leads to an effect. You see, we need nothing to cause an effect that's called being who we are. It's beyond cause and effect. What we already are doesn't need anything to cause it. It doesn't need anything to cause it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's impossible that we'd need anything to cause what we already are. It's just like saying, oh, I need to find a cause for my blue eyes, or and to relate everything about those eyes. And if we try to do that, we start to speculate them, the blue eyes. And then there's a story about the blue eyes. Oh, I have blue eyes because my grandmother had blue eyes, or I have blue eyes because my DNA is right for blue eyes, or I have blue eyes for this reason or that reason, or I can change the color of my eyes by getting violet contact lenses, or whatever it is. So it's the persistence in an illusory existence. All the words in the dictionary, no matter what they are like a mirage. They're like a mirage. So if we go into a mirage and we try to rearrange all the elements to make it into something, will we ever make the mirage into something? No, we won't. No matter how we rearrange the elements, we will not make the mirage into something. So you see, when we try to do something like get quiet, get still, get into some kind of a state, we're just attempting to create a state, but all that is still within point of view. It's still an anomaly of point of view. The direct introduction to the reality of what we are is neither oversimplified or overcomplicated. So when I say oversimplified, it's not just the direct introduction to the emptiness of pure basic space. There you are, go on your way. No support is necessary. You'll know what to do in every situation. That's oversimplification. And we have plenty of that today. We have all kinds of books that offer some kind of a taste of awareness, but then there's never any completeness in it. There's nowhere to go for any support in living as awareness. There's an assumption made that once everyone realizes awareness, they'll know exactly what to do in every single situation. But, throughout time, all of the great traditions, when someone has the direct experience of the reality of what they are, great support is available. It isn't as though if someone lives in an ashram, the moment they're self-realized, they're shown the door. There are many people who have lived a rich experience of the full evidence of awakened awareness there to support the person. So, this is very, very important. This is very, very important. We are all complete in ourselves, but if we oversimplify the experience of that, it can lead to extremes. It can lead to extremes in conduct, and it can lead to many other kinds of extremes. The biggest extreme is the adoption of a state like emptiness, non-existence, impartiality, neutrality, fatality, even bliss and clarity. So all of these are no self, no thought, no concepts. All of these are extremes to avoid.
Remember